I have a shelf full of books that I've never read, that I've bought or been given, and this is the year that I'm going to read them all. So I started off the year with 32 books, and I've currently read 7 of them. I'm going to take a few minutes and talk about each book that I've read this far and my thoughts and feelings on them and whether I would recommend them or not. So let's get started. This is written by Sarah J. Maas. It is 230 pages long, and this is the 4th book in a series. The first book in that series was A Court of Thorns and Roses. It was very good. I liked it a lot. I think that what this book really came across to me as a bridge. It was a bridge book between the first 3 books, and it kind of was hinting that there's going to be more of the story to come. So this was the book bridging the 2. So this would not be a standalone book. You wouldn't want to read just this book. It wouldn't really make a lot of sense. You probably should read from the beginning of the series. It is very short compared to the other 3. The other 3 books in this series were quite a bit longer. I read this in one day, so it was just a nice, easy read, and I really enjoyed it. So yes, I would totally recommend this on the basis that you've read the previous 3 in the series. This book called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. I picked this up because I thought it was a book on minimalism. I thought it was a book on minimizing and streamlining and organizing your life. So it's not actually about minimalism at all. It has nothing to do with that topic whatsoever. This is a productivity book. This is a good book for business owners. This is a good book for people who work in a professional capacity. This book took me a little longer to get through. That doesn't mean it wasn't very good. It just wasn't as captivating as maybe I thought it was going to be. However, if you were looking for a book to help your productivity, I would recommend giving this one a try. Next up is another young adult novel called Wintersong. This is a debut novel by Jae Jones, and I loved this book. It was just a nice, simple book. It was easy to read. It was very fairy tale-esque. It had a very nice fable vibe about it. It was very imaginative. It was unique, and it was just a lot of fun to read. This book has 436 pages, and this is actually the first book. The second book, Shadow Song, is coming out later this year. I like this book enough that I will be picking up the second one. That said, I don't think this book really needs a sequel. I think this book could stand very well on its own. Interested to see where she takes the storyline next. I would recommend this one if you are looking for a holiday read or vacation read. I think this one would make a really good choice. The next book is this really cute, quick 99-page book called Worth the Wrestle. This is written by Sherri. This is a religious book. The main takeaway that I got from this book is, are you willing to put in the effort to get the result that you're looking for? You can take that religiously, you can put that in your business life, you can put that in your personal life. It kind of applies across the board, but be aware that this is written as a religion book. Overall, a really good book, nice and simple to read. I recommend giving this one a try. Next up is the book that I've liked the least so far this year. Now, that's not to say that it's a terrible book. It just wasn't really my style, and there's just a couple of really specific things that I didn't enjoy about it. So this book is called The Perfect Girlfriend by Karen Hamilton. This is also a debut novel. This book is 336 pages long. It took me a couple of days to get through this one because I started to get bored, to be completely honest. The story felt a little stretched, a little drawn out, without enough to really keep me interested. The overall concept of the book was quite good. It's kind of a psychological thriller. If you're into that kind of thing, you might want to give this one a try. The one thing that really irritated me about this book was the overuse of the word whilst. Now, this person is not English, but this book takes place in Britain. There was one instance where the word whilst, it was used twice in one sentence. So it was just a little bit overdone. There's a lot of that word in this book. It just kind of started to get irritating after a while. I don't like this book enough to keep it around, so this one I'll probably be passing on to somebody else to read. I don't love every book I've ever read, and this one just didn't do it for me. Okay, back to nonfiction. Have you heard of Celery Juice? I'm sure you've heard of Celery Juice. If you have, this is probably the book where all of that's coming from. This is a strange book. 344 pages long. This one was kind of harder to get through for me, not because it wasn't interesting, but because I started to kind of feel skeptical. I'm trying to just be honest about this. I'm not trying to, mean or anything like that. But this book is weird. You have to go into this book, reading this book, with a very open mind. Just keep an open mind about it. Keep an open mind about the things he talks about and his concepts. It's just a lot different than any other medical book you probably have ever come across. It's always nice when they include testimonial type stories in here. So I did like those. I liked some of the advice about health and wellness in general. So give this one a try. I don't not recommend it. It's just not something that I think I would recommend to everyone. I would probably recommend it on a person-by-person basis. But there is actually 8 books in this pile, not 7 like I said before. This is book number 7, however. Girl, wash your face. I know you know who Rachel Hollis is. She's fantastic. You've probably heard of this book. You've probably already read this book. I'm a little bit late to the game on this one. This is only a 213-page book, so it's a pretty quick read. I think I went through this one in about 2 days. The subtitle says, "Stop believing the lies about who you are so you can become the person you were meant to be." Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be a better version of themselves? Who doesn't want to be the best version of themselves? And this book has some fabulous advice. My favorite chapter was on goal setting and goal focus, which I believe is titled, "I Am Going to Marry Matt Damon," which cracked me up. The chapter is not how to actually marry Matt Damon. The chapter is about goal setting and focus and having huge goals and achieving them. This is a fantastic book. There is another book by Rachel Hollis that is coming out later this year, and because I loved this one so much, I will be picking that other one up. This one I would definitely keep in my own collection, but I would probably consider buying this to give away to people as a gift. Rachel is so funny, very witty, really good stories. I was even in tears in some moments when she shared some personal stories. Even if you're not a nonfiction fan, this doesn't really read like nonfiction. I recommend giving this one a go. Now for the final book. I'd like to think that I saved the best for last, except that I kind of forgot that it was in the bottom of the pile. But me forgetting that this book was in my pile does not make the message of this book any less important. This is a book on a very serious subject matter. I don't know if you've heard of Timothy Ballard and his organization called Operation Underground Railroad. This is his book. This book is going to tear your heart right out. I guarantee it. This book talks about slavery, both historic and current. And I bet you didn't think that there was slavery in the world today, but oh, let me tell you that there is. In fact, the statistics in this book are nearly unbelievable. This is the book about how Tim started his organization, his nonprofit, and the reason why he started his nonprofit and some of the success they've had. And actually, he talks about some of the failures that they've had as well in this book, which I think is really brave. The mission of OUR is to rescue children from sex trafficking, which is a heavy topic, which is a hard topic to talk about. I really feel this is an important topic that needs to be talked about. So kind of a heavy book. The last 50 pages of this, I just bawled and bawled. It's not a very good recommendation for a book to say, hey, buy this book, it's going to make you cry. But buy this book because it's important to do so. Next up, I'm reading a couple of books I got up from the library. One's called The Bookshop of Yesterday. It's a book about books, so of course I'm going to read it. The other book I'm reading next is called Into the Wild. I've never read this book. It's an older book, Jon Krakauer. His books are more like investigative journalism, and I've read a couple of his before, and they were fascinating. If you have seen the movie Everest, Jon Krakauer is the person who wrote the book that movie has been based on. Those are the books that I've read so far in 2019, and many, many more to come. This is going to become a monthly feature on the vlog here, and I'm going to do this on the first Friday of every month. Look for a vlog or an update on the books that I've read in a month. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below telling me what it is that you are currently reading. I would love to gather some more books to put in my ever-growing pile of to-be-reads.